Hello, Rabbi.
Hello, Joe.
I see you are in a bar today, or is it a coffee shop? I can't tell. Or perhaps,
Actually, actually, it's in the basement in my house.
oh,
You see my water skis, huh? And the bar.
see, I have to limit the bar area in my house, or it would take over because I'm always tempted to experiment with drinks, and I find after the 14th variation on a martini that I've worked up, I cannot go on to the 16th, so to speak. But let's talk about that and temptation. What is it about temptation? Are we mortal? And does that define us? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Well, the best way to deal with temptation is just give into it. Why fight it? Because if you want to have another drink, if you want to do this, or you feel a need to run naked through the mall, why fight it? Just give in to the temptation. Now, if I say that to you, what's your response going to be?
Well, Father Elliot would be upset. And my mother would say, remember the Lord's Prayer, which, if I remember correctly, is also in the Torah, lead us not into temptation.
And I want to correct you based on Pope Francis. Pope Francis has had the committee for about 15 years now. He is now promoting a slight translation because the idea that God would lead you into temptation is not consistent with the original. Remember, Jesus spoke Aramaic and prayed in Hebrew. He did not speak the Queen's or the King's English. And so this is a translation, and it's an adaptation of the Kaddish de Rabbanan. And when we step back, the Pope Francis has worked on and suggested, do not let me fall into temptation, which is consistent with the teaching, and it's consistent with God. Was ask him, don't let me fall into temptation. And I think you really hit on the problem, because religious leaders, political leaders want to use temptation as a tool for power and control. And they're going to hold it over us, and they're going to exploit a human condition. As I mentioned, we're all addicts, and we don't have to limit it to drug, sex, or rock and roll. That's part of the human nature. And doing things that might be hurtful, we'll call temptation, it's all part of being human. There's the idea that this is forbidden or too much is not good is a temptation. And so that's why I agree with Pope Francis that it should be, do not let me fall into temptation. Now it throws back on me. Do not let me, meaning I have to take a look at my personality, and I have to look at what's harmful for me. Hey, a Snickers bar might be good, but 20 Snickers bars, or to keep eating them, it's not healthy. To have a Manhattan, a bourbon, martini, maybe two, not driving, okay. But to give in and keep over and over, to give in to the temptation is harmful. So we have to stop for a moment and take a look at what's going on here. Because God is not tempting us. That's just silly. That's about power and control. It's not about the universe. God truly is God. And his goal out there isn't to trick us, isn't to limit the people going to heaven, isn't trying to get more people into hell. That's just a power play of individuals. The goal is what's the healthiest for us. So do not let me fall into temptation. So what are the things that might tempt me? I'm not tempted by having some more brie cheese. I'm not tempted by having kumquats. I'm not tempted by having Brussels sprouts. But hot fudge sundae, a good bourbon. So that changes what I might be tempted.
The occasion where I go, boy, I'd really love another piece of broccoli right now. That can be forgiven.
Yeah, that could be forgiven as just being stupid, because, with all the things I've done, my 100 years with hospice, American Cancer Society, the fire company, as a chaplain in mental hospitals, no one on their deathbed has ever said to me, I wish I ate more kale. So you know what? I should have had more broccoli. That's not on anybody's list for anything. Because as human beings, we realize that's not what life's about. And that's not what's important in order to become fulfilled. And there's a touchstone for us. What is important to you? And also, it's nice to have a bourbon. It's nice to have hot fudge sundae. By having more, it doesn't become fun. It doesn't become tasty. So one of the things that makes for a neat experience is that experience. And the more we have of it, the less fun it is, the less we enjoy pleasure from it. And so when we talk about temptation, we want to draw the line at our religious and political leaders who would use a human quality to get votes, to get ahead, for self-aggrandizement, and to have another jet plane, or to have a bigger place to worship. That's not what God wants. Just read the prophets, read what Jesus said, and you'll see that mega churches was not what Jesus wanted us to do. And he also talks about what's healthy. And that's what all our religions do. What is good for us? And temptation then is always there. Temptation crouches at the door, just waiting for us. And it's harmful.
So temptation is always defined as something that we know is bad for us? Or do we fall into it?
Yeah, I see. I think once again, your definition right away is what about power and control? Why don't we just say that, like human beings are addicts, we want to repeat and we want to stuff ourselves. It's just part of what a human being is. Then we want to be tempted. We find temptation, things out there that, oh, I want more, I want more, I want more. Very similar to having an addiction. It's kind of an oddity, but it's been turned into something for control. So I can preach to you, I can tell you you're going to hell, I can tell you you're a bad person. I can make a whole big thing on resisting or stopping. No, it just is a fact of life that as human beings, we want more of something we like.
Well, I know what I want more of, and that's more conversations with you, Rabbi.
And
thank you very much for the wisdom as always. Sometimes I'm led to it, sometimes I fall into it, but I always enjoy it.
And you know what? I'm always here to tempt you. Thank you again, Joe.